Today, I will be turning someone's side hustle into a valuable asset that pays him while he's asleep. So this, in my opinion, is one of the toughest business models that I've looked at in terms of acquisitions. You'll see what I'm talking about here soon, but this is a very unique business model in home inspections. So where we are now, it's kind of a side hustle. So he does a job about every other week, charging around $800. I would estimate his annual income sitting between $20,000 and $24,000, which isn't bad for a side hustle, but definitely not enough to live off of. It's a super high margin though, because he's doing all the work. He doesn't have to pay for any labor. The biggest issues I see is, one, he's still working a full-time job, so there's a lot of time that he can't spend in the business, and the rest is just getting more customers, being able to have more people come in the door. So the first step is honestly just building the demand for your services. So if you want to look at how the home inspection business works, like 95% of it is all connections with realtors. So my system, I would say, get in with a realtor, get in with a group of realtors and be their referral. Because anytime you go to, you're buying a house and you have your realtor, you don't have your own personal home inspection guy. People buy a house maybe like 2 times in their life, maybe. So you're not just gonna have a guy for something you use, once every 30 years. But your realtor who sells houses every day, every week, every whatever, is gonna have a guy on standby. So you want to become that guy as fast as possible.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So doing lunch and learns, and I would say honestly just working with the young realtors is probably the biggest thing. All the experienced realtors, they have their guy, they have their referral who they've been using for years. The new guys fresh out of college, ready to make a name for themselves, they may not get as many houses, but if you can get a group of them, they will come to you because they don't have anybody else. Another idea off the top of my head, you can get in with a guy who's about to retire and maybe buy out his book of business, or he can leave you his regulars, something of that sort. That way you're able to have that acquisition and have that referral method pretty much right off the bat. The other thing I would look at, this is something I really like because he does have a pretty decent size book of business. It's just the realtors don't, get listings often enough for him to do it full time. But what I'd be looking at is the gift card play. So for those of you who don't know how the gift card play is, we implemented it in our service-based business pretty recently for a big Christmas special coming up. Essentially what it is we give you $50 off and we give you 3 more gift cards for $50, but the catch is you have to give them to your friends. So now, even though you spent $50 less than you would have because you're already my customer, I got 3 new customers who maybe they get $50 off the first time, but since we do a subscription model, what happens, they end up charging $200 initial and then $250 monthly, moving on over and over. So I would do this with your current book of business. You go to your realtors and you say, hey, half off your next home inspection if you put me in touch with your realtor friends and give 3 of them this discount also. It's great for white elephant at the realtor party. It's great for giving to your friends as a Christmas gift, something that saves the realtor money or the homeowner money and incentivizes them to get you more clients, is pretty much what it is. The next thing I would look at, and this person's personality, I'm not sure if they would be down for this, but if it was my business, I would take to social media, but I wouldn't target the home inspection community. I would not target the home buyer or seller community. I would target the realtors specifically. So I know that's kind of unusual to have a different avatar than target market, but at the end of the day, you're not in the business of getting homeowners or people buying a home or people selling a home to use your thing. Your customer acquisition, your client acquisition is the realtors, not the actual customers. And so you need to talk to that avatar, talk to the realtor avatar, and not, John and Kathy who are selling a house and then they'll sell another one in 30 years and maybe they'll, remember your name, who knows. So that's what I would look at in terms of social media, just targeting to the realtors. So this could be trends around home buying. This could be tips in realty if you have some level of expertise there. Whatever it is, make your content for realtors, and then your CTA is, instead of come work with me, it's hey, use me as a referral. It's a very low ask. The realtor really doesn't pay much, but you're able to build a connection with a lot of people and a mass audience relatively quickly online. The next thing I would look at, and again, this is kind of a lower margin, but it's definitely worth a shot. This would be like my last resort, honestly. Is going door to door, having like flyers for people who are moving or new move. So when you get an alert of like a new listing, you go out and you hit a 50 house radius and say, hey, I saw you're moving. This is a little different. This is targeting the actual home owner or seller rather than the realtor, but that could be a decent alternative acquisition method. In the meantime, I think the highest leverage would be lunch and learn, getting in front of the young realtors, and possibly even doing some speaking events to people who are about to graduate college who are going into realty. And then the other option is, of course, business to business is definitely on the table. It's just a matter of how scalable that is long term. The next thing we have to look at is the capacity. Like we said, he's working a full-time job. He's pretty much booked up Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever the hours are. And so we need to find a way for him to, if we're getting more clients, we need to do the jobs. So there's two ways we can go about this, but before we do, I want to preface, this gentleman is pretty close to retirement age. He is looking to retire soon. He actually told me yesterday that he is looking at honestly just waning down the business and letting it kind of die out, maybe, dissolving the LLC, whatever it is. And so my goal, what I think he should do is try to automate it as fast as possible. So it's either one, a sellable asset that he can make some money off of, two, build it up and use whatever income to retire himself, get him out of the 9 to 5 rat race and, enjoy retirement type of thing. But for the fun of this, because I don't really care about making a couple bucks and retiring, that's lame, we are going to turn this into an asset because that is what we do. If you have a small business, a service-based business doing under $30,000 a month and you want me to help you scale it from a high-stress job to a high-value asset, shoot me a text, 817-600-0337. I would love to see if you are a good fit to come work with me and the team. But in terms of fulfilling these jobs, first things first, he's working a full-time job. So as of right now, he has the capacity to do, we'll say 3 a week because he can take a day off. We'll see. 3 jobs a week, and that's assuming he doesn't have any time for the lunch and learns, for whatever else it is that he's doing. So I would take every single minute you have of, the free time outside of your 9 to 5. I'm going and talking to realtors. I'm DMing, I'm emailing, I'm doing some sort of outreach. The only exception is when I'm actually doing the job. And then I would hire it out pretty quickly. Because then once you have a pretty decent acquisition method, you can hire someone to go out and do the job itself. Like I said, he's charging about $800 per ticket, which is a pretty decent size in this industry. Like $800 is pretty solid. Most people who work for a big company, they get paid about $300, maybe $350. So I say you go in and you say, hey, since I'm a small business, since I'm local, since I'm a one-man show, whatever it is, I'll give you $400 instead of $300. You make more, woohoo, whatever. You're still taking home 50% margin. He's doing the jobs, and then you're still building the brand and facial awareness with the realtors, with the team. And then eventually your guy starts to work on acquisitions for himself when you get a little cut of him, and it keeps on building like that. So that's what I would be looking at. I mean, if he has 3 days a week, he's able to do 156 jobs a year, which even if we don't hire out anybody and he just wants to make some money in the next couple years before he retires, if you filled up at 1 job a day, all of the days that you're working 3 days a week, then you would be able to come in and you would have, I believe it's 156 jobs, and your take home from that would be $125,000. So if you did that for 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, you would be in a really good place to just retire right off the bat. But the next thing, my personal favorite, because obviously I love to sell stuff. I'm gonna go sell some people in like 30 minutes after this if anyone needs their cars detailed in Vegas. Oh yeah. No, I'm messing around. But for sales, looking at the B2B model. So the biggest issue is, like we said, if you look at realties, there's like 2 to 5 big companies and then independent guys, and there's really not much of a middle ground. And so I would have 1 to 3 B2B salesmen, commission-based, so it's nothing up front, and you go into the little guys. And you can try to make a personal connection with every little guy realtor that there is, make a one-on-one connection, and build that relationship. This is definitely more of a long game business in my opinion. If anyone out there has run a successful home inspection business and grown it more than 8 figures a year, please be in touch. I would love to pick your brain because this is honestly a pretty new model to me. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of stuff, but this is an interesting one because we're going after a realtor instead of the client, but still pretty straightforward there. Anyways, going B2B, you can incentivize them. Like I said, we could do the gift card play. We could do the referrals. We could do, we'll give you cheaper since you're also local and I'm also local. So then like the big guys, we charge $800, but I'll do your first one for $600. You still pay the guy $400, pay the sales rep, $100 commission, and you're taking home $100 while sitting on the couch eating Cheeto Puffs. Oh yeah, I'd love to see it. So that's what I would look at. Honestly, that's what I think is the lowest cost up front. But it's also not the highest likelihood of succeeding, just being transparent. And it's definitely a long game. So I would try to get them under like an exclusive contract if I were to do that. I'm going B2B to small independent guys, and I'm signing a 5-year, 10-year exclusive deal saying, hey, this company will do my home inspections, all of them, for all of my buyers, sellers, whatever, the next 30 years. And obviously the homeowner has the last call, but it basically just says like, hey, they will push it as good as you can. Legal stuff, if I'm like getting you into jail, just like ignore me. But I think that should be fine. I'd be looking for an exclusive contract. But we just went through a lot. We went through a lot on how to scale this from a $20,000 a year side hustle to a multi-6-figure a year asset. I think it's definitely possible to do this within the next 2 years if it's something that you really put the work into. I'd say the biggest issue is honestly just scheduling and not being tired on the weekends. I mean, you've heard everyone say it a million times. Your 9 to 5 isn't killing your dreams. Your 5 to 9 and your weekends are. Your work is keeping you afloat. But then when you go home, you just like sit on the couch, or you just like spend all day Saturday snoozing on the couch. That's the reason you're not able to get ahead, is because you're too busy working on the needs. You're not able to work on the growth. So I'd say time is probably the biggest constraint there. But let's look at some actionable steps we can take right now, today. So first things first, I would get your face in front of as many people as possible. Go buy people some lunches. Go buy some lunches, go to some businesses, send some emails, do some sort of outreach to try to acquire new clients. And if you can get them, whether it's the gift card play, whether it's, first one's cheaper, let me try out for you type of thing, whatever it is, do something to get your foot in the door and to build some rapport and build some goodwill with these realtors. Because if you build some goodwill with them, odds are they will reward you right back with jobs, which means money. Oh yeah. But if you enjoyed this, if you want me to break down your business and drop a plan on exactly how we can go from whatever you're at now to whatever your big, hairy, outrageous, enormous goal is, I would love to hear about your businesses. Just shoot me a text, 817-600-0337. Let me know what part of the country you're in, what type of business you're in. Let me know what you're doing now and what your goals are by the time that we're done working. And if that leads to me investing in you, I am here for it. In the meantime, if you learn something, if you want to grow your business, if you want to start your business, if you want to just learn how to sell, learn how to make money, learn how money works, hit that follow button. I'm posting business and sales content as often as I can. I'm trying to get like 5 to 7 a day. So hit that follow button, and I appreciate all of y'all. Peace.